Turns on. Throughout my career, I've had probably about 80 interns and trainees over the years. And today we get to talk to somebody else's interns, and that is with MyAgData. We are joined by their summer interns, Haylee Frizzell, Kaiden Blanchard, and Tyler Huesers. Tyler, did I say your last name right?
Huesers.
Huesers, not Hoosiers. If it's Hoosiers, does that mean you play better basketball?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe? Just go with it. All right. So, Tyler, you're the first guy to talk. Tell us about MyAgData. What do you do all summer long?
Yeah, so all summer long, I'm making reports for these farmers, trying to help save them some money on their insurance premiums and also save them a little bit of a headache at the FSA office.
How?
A farmer's got to go into the FSA office and they got to bust out their coloring books and start drawing all of their fields out. Well, with us, they can kind of skip that process. We can handle all of that on our computers and then send it over to the office for them. And then all they need to do is verify, make sure we did it all correct, and then go and sign off on it for us.
So I like the way he says you break out your coloring books, because this is how it works. If you're a farmer and you need to certify your acres at the FSA office, and you need to make sure that they have your accurate planted acres for farm programs and so much more, they use surety maps. And those maps literally require you to go in and draw on the maps what your acreages are. Now, I'm going to ask Haylee, how accurate are those maps when farmers do that?
Not very accurate in most cases. We've seen generally up to like a 13% difference on a 1,500-acre farm.
Why is that?
The boundaries are old and they were hand drawn to begin with and then uploaded electronically, and most of them have not been redone since the 70s.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And and they vary every year, right?
Definitely. Where are your wet spots? And did you take out a tree? Did you remove an old homestead? All of those things.
And when you say that, it's because the land geographically, topographically changes. So maybe you had an extra 3 or 4 acres that you didn't have last year. And how did you get them? So it does make a pretty big difference. So when you talk about how those maps change, Kaiden, when you are looking at your maps, when you are helping these farmers, walk me through the process. You call a farmer. What do you do with that person in order to help them get the most accurate information possible transferred over to the Farm Service Agency?
Yeah, for sure. We want to make sure they have confidence throughout the whole process. We really just want to make sure any of their data, the farming data, acreage plotting data, and their CLUs, they just get properly processed through us, and we work alongside their given data that we have, and we uh, just survey the boundaries efficiently, make sure the field boundaries are properly managed, and just make sure they are confident throughout the whole process of the newly automated system we offer.
When you're offering the system, are you on the phone with them getting their information, Kaiden, or is there a way that they can transfer from what happened in the tractor when they actually planted this spring versus someone just saying, all right, section 120, or, Northwest 122, section 8, or section 8, the Northwest quarter. How do you actually get the right information?
Yeah, so we work with the FSA offices and the farmers themselves to take their given OEM data, whether that's the process they use being John Deere, Field Precision. We take their data directly. We can take their data directly from their farming software that they're using while they're plotting their farms, and just completely work based off of the field boundaries we get through that.
As you're doing that, as you're thinking about bringing that data in, what if I don't have John Deere equipment? I have something other than John Deere.
Yeah, we offer a wide variety of opportunities to like do managed services for the farmers given data. Whether if they don't have given OEM data equipment like through John Deere, etc., we can also work alongside the offices to get their CLUs, or we can just go on their given uh, acreage plants and just directly add it in ourselves based on their counties.
So it really doesn't matter. You're colorblind as to the equipment that they're using.
Mm-hmm.
Haylee, this isn't your first year working for MyAgData, right?
No, this is my second year. So I was here last summer as well.
Have you found some stumbling blocks with farmers who maybe have slightly older equipment? And have you been able to help coach them through some of the pitfalls of getting that information to the FSA and crop insurance?
Definitely. I did my family's report this year as my intern project, and we don't have any precision data. So I kind of like working with those people just because I'm used to it. And CLUs are always a great fallback. But a lot of the time you can also see the differences in the topography, and you're able to draw a boundary around things that should be included or shouldn't be based off of that.
And Tyler, how many farmers are signed up for MyAgData?
I couldn't tell you the exact number of how many growers we have. I would have to pull that from somewhere, have somebody pull it. But we are nationwide, and we have a handful of growers all over the nation, a good handful, but I don't have an exact number.
Okay.
I think we could talk in acres, and we know that they're on probably 1.5 million acres across the U.S.
Wow.
So there's still room for growth, but there's been a great uptick in farmers saying, you know what, I want some accuracy, because when we get that much more accurate, we have an opportunity to look at that information and say, so those are my actual planted acres. Well, when I want to plan for seed, I can be much more accurate, because honestly, if you over plan 5-10 acres of seed, that's a lot of money when you're talking, $400 a bag on seed corn.
Yeah, it's up.
And so with input costs at the way they are, it really does matter to be as accurate as we can. And farmers don't want to overpay, whether it's for inputs, for crop insurance, and so much more. So there's a lot of ways that we can do that. There's still more questions to come. We want to talk about who owns the data. How is it protected when MyAgData works with a farmer? Because in this day and age, we so often talk about cybersecurity, and we don't want the loss of our information being transferred out there in the Netherlands of cyber. And we also want to know, who are these interns? We launched into questions with them, but who are they? Where are they from? And why are they working for MyAgData this summer? Let's do that when we return from Bottom of the Hour News. And it kicks off tomorrow. Project Safe Sand in Castleton, Tuesday, July 7th. You can get rid of your unusable pesticides. The 2026 collection sites are all 8 a.m. to noon at North Dakota Department of Transportation facilities. Tomorrow is Castleton. Wednesday is Jamestown. Thursday, Bismarck. If you have stuff that you've used in the garden and you don't want to have around anymore, you cleaned out Grandpa's house, and how did he still have some Tordon pellets left? You looked around and somebody found some terribly rotted out cans of Phos toxin, whatever. Get those to Project Safe Sand. Give them a call if you have a large quantity that needs to be dropped off, particularly if you're a commercial user, and have a discussion with them about what you can and can't bring. No paint, no fuels, no kerosene, etc. That's just one of the things that's been going on this week. But also part of this week is talking with interns from MyAgData. We are joined by Haylee, Kaiden, and Tyler, and we have a question from Tom to our interns. Tom, how can we help today?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, is there a minimum or a maximum size farm that you guys will do?
I'm going to ask Haylee as our second-year intern on that to answer it, please. Wait, she's muted. We need her to talk.
Haley, you're muted.
Can you talk now, Haley?
I'm not.
There we go.
Okay.
I bet that was on our end.
Fire away, Haley.
We do not have a minimum or maximum acreage. We are happy to help regardless of how big or how small.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that probably begs the question, Tom. Well, how would someone pay you? Are there a couple of different options that you offer to farmers?
Definitely. Yeah. So we have two models. One is our self-service model, and that one is $250 per entity that you report. And then we also have our managed services model, which is a lot more like H&R Block, we like to refer to, where we do a lot of the hands-on cleanup, etc. And we do a 50 cent per acre fee for that one.
So
One last quick question. Then, who establishes the boundaries of the property? If some of these are really old, and I've found old boundaries, and they're long ways off. They can be many yards off. Who establishes them, and what do they use? Do they use professional services? What's required to get a true boundary?
For sure. It's definitely easiest if you have precision agriculture data or if your agronomist has drawn boundaries. That's generally where we find those because they're the most accurate. And then we still have to use the CLU boundaries for FSA. But after establishing a new boundary, you can do what they call a reconstitution and get those boundaries redrawn.
Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Now, when we talk about all this data and things that are going on, I do want to ask, so Kaiden, who owns the data? Does MyAgData hold on to this? Is it something that farmers are asking you about? What's your reply to that?
We don't share or collect to anyone else, or we make sure that your data is strictly secure within our mainframe completely throughout the whole process. We want to make sure you don't have to worry about your data and acres going in places you wouldn't want it to go. We just make sure that it's secure the whole way through.
Well, we do like that because security matters so very much. And so, Tyler, we visit here frequently about the importance of cybersecurity. Can farmers rest easy knowing that what you're doing to help them through MyAgData means that they are very well protected, that their information is not just being downloaded into the dark web somewhere?
Oh yeah, so I got to do my mom's farm as a managed service for my intern project, and one of her biggest concerns was where's this data going. I reassured her this data is going nowhere but to our system, and after that it goes nowhere else. We don't sell it, like Kaiden mentioned. And then once we have this data, we're not sharing it with the government. I mean, besides what we report to the FSA, but that was my mom's large concern. So the data is pretty secure. It's not going anywhere you don't want it to. It's staying within us.
You know what? If you can sell a product to your parents, that matters. I mean, I remember being an intern as well in college and trying to talk about chemistry on the farm. And my dad was like, I don't know, why would I trust you? Perhaps because you're my father, Dad. That's why. Maybe that had something to do with it. So, Tyler, let's talk a little bit about where you're from, where you go to school, future plans, that type of thing.
So right now I am in about central North Dakota. I'm in Garrison, right between Bismarck and Minot. I am about to go into my senior year up at NDSU. I'm studying agribusiness, and as far as future plans, that's still slightly in the works. I got one more year of school to see where it's going to take me, but I'm open to many different things, and yeah, would love to stay. Well, not love. I'm going to stay in the agricultural industry. It's been a huge part of my life growing up, and I don't want to leave it anytime soon. But what part of the agricultural industry is still on the table?
Oh, so there's a guy for future employers to be thinking about. Maybe you have a place for him. This guy with some experience, right? Never know. Maybe there's somebody listening who says, I should talk to that kid, Kaiden. Or excuse me, Tyler. But then we want to talk to Kaiden next. Kaiden, tell us where you're from, where you're going to school, those types of things.
Yeah, of course. I am from Anoka, Minnesota. I am going to be a senior at the University of Jamestown in North Dakota here, double majoring in business IT and computer science management, and also minoring in database development and cybersecurity. So I'm just through working with the development team of MyAgData and just helping secure your data. I'm just hoping that helps set me up well for future business intelligence jobs, etc.
Dean, you seem surprised about his answer.
Geez, Wow, man, we could barely tackle one major, let alone multiple. Good for you.
Yeah, kids in school these days, really, I would say not lacking for things to
That's
do.
good. That's good
right.
to hear.
So, Haylee, as someone who's returning, give us your background, but also, why did you return for a second year?
For sure. Yeah. So I live in Northeastern Washington. I just graduated from South Dakota State. Sorry, Bridgette.
What? I liked you up until this point.
I knew that would happen. So I just graduated from South Dakota State with my degree in agricultural business. And now I am helping my dad farm full-time and ranch. I came back to MyAgData just because of their values. I love that they really are dedicated to helping farmers and they care about what they're doing, and everyone is super dedicated, and that's really hard to find.
So of all three of you, as you think about what you've been doing for the summers, what surprised you the most when it came to working with farmers? Or maybe you weren't at all. If you're coming from farm backgrounds, you just thought, no, this is a normal day. Was anybody surprised?
I guess
there's
always...
different.
I'll let
You can
Go
go
ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler first, then I want Haylee.
All right. So I've always worked with farmers. I used to work at a grain elevator at CHS here in Garrison for the first couple of years. So I'd say the biggest difference is now I'm working with them through the phone, not so much in person and talking to them. The biggest surprise to me is it seems like farmers are always on the phone, but when you actually want them to be on the phone with you, it's a little harder to get them on the phone.
They didn't block your number, but they know your number. I think that's fair. Haylee, how would you answer that as well?
I would say, again, I've grown up around farmers, loggers, the ag industry, and I'm always so surprised at how similar everyone is across the whole country. It doesn't matter where they're at. You can always talk about the weather or how the crop's doing, and they're always, once you get them on the phone, they're always happy to talk to you.
So you guys don't travel. You just do all of this by telecommunications. Okay. I see everybody nodding. Excellent. All right. I will warn you that there are some internships out there where that drive time is a lot. And I always told interns in the past that you be fully aware that we could easily put 5,000 miles on a month on a vehicle. And there were students that said, you know what? I'm done with this summer. I don't want to drive that much again. And that's okay. So to all three of you, thank you for joining us today, sharing what's going on with MyAgData, what you're doing, as well as how you are interacting as college students with farmers that are actively farming and what you're thinking about doing in the future. So we greatly appreciate that. Thank you to all three of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys.